ladies and gentlemen. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put Gunner Souls in here. Afternoon. I'm going to start. They always say start with the bad news first. So I'm going to go to the Gooners, first of all. United fans, sit back, enjoy yourselves, and wait for our turn. But Gunner Souls, a very disappointing result in the end for you today. You came back but couldn't hold on. What went wrong?
I think a few things went wrong. I think we slept on the corner. There wasn't good enough defending in terms of marking your players. But I think just overall, there's a lot of selfishness at the club at the moment in terms of just chances being, scuffed, not making the right decisions in the final third. It seems like for some reason, especially in the first halves of all three games, a lot of these players want the glory for themselves. Like, look at Martinelli, for example. When he needed to shoot, he passed. When he wanted to pass, he shot. And it was, for me, the decision-making at the club right now isn't great. We're not looking like a unit. We're not looking like a team that played last season where all 11 were fighting for each other, we're playing for each other, we're playing for the badge. And I think that's part of the problem. And I mean, look, it's a bump in the road. I'm not going to overreact to it. It's one draw. The performances haven't been great, but it's not only Man City who was allowed to start, slow. It was a disappointing game today. But at the end of the day, I'm not losing my head. I think too many players to blame. Martinelli, Saka should also be criticised just as much as Havertz deserves criticism. Because both, for me, Martinelli and Saka have not covered themselves in glory in the past few games. Too many chances missed. And Nketiah, it's quite funny now, actually, because Trossard didn't have a good game, and Nketiah probably, in hindsight, should have started. And Fabio Vieira, a lot of people wanted this guy out. He actually changed the game for once. And for me, bump in the road, I'm just looking to the United game. It is what it is. We have to move on. I'm not going to overreact. I don't think it's too early to kind of start singing Arteta, start singing all of this. I just think there's going to be a huge, huge overreaction today. And that's just how I feel. I don't know how to feel about this game.
I hear you. Brandon, how do you feel about this game? Because it started poorly. You got progressively better, but then in the end, it fell away again. And a lot of people are putting blame here on Partey at right back and Kai Havertz starting. Do you agree?
Ain't it funny, Terry? They've all changed their tune now, ain't they? Eh? I was saying this last week and the week before that the manager's fucking formation is a joke. It cannot continue being like this. I said we would get exposed. We got exposed today. Now, right? You go back to the first goal. People will blame Saka. People will blame Ramsdale. The fact that the reality is it's the manager's fault because he didn't play a right back at right back. As the previous super chat said, Thomas Partey was too quick to rush back into the midfield. If Ben White was there, maybe that doesn't happen. But then at the same time, I agree with Souls, right? These players haven't learnt from last season, Tel. How many times did you watch Arsenal concede early goals last season? And we did it again today. And it cost us in the end, right? We got what we deserved today. In fact, we got more than what we deserved. We didn't deserve to come away with anything out of that game. And to be fair, I'll give Mikel Arteta his credit because his substitutions actually changed the game today. Fabio Vieira was very good when he came on. Eddie Nketiah was very good when he came on. But the rest of the players, I've got questions to ask, right? Because, we're the third game. It's the third game into the season. But we're supposed to be competing for a league title this season. And I look at that team and the way that they started in that first half, they all look lost. They all look like they are trying to learn something new. And it is down to this manager. This manager needs to stop with this experimental rubbish, go back to what was working for us last season. Ben White at right back was arguably the best right back in the league last season. Gabriel and Saliba were arguably the best defensive partnership in the league last season when they was both fit. Why has he torn all this up? Just so he can shoehorn Kai Havertz in. And this is the fact and reality of it. And Kai Havertz again today, right? What did he do today? Nothing. He got dragged off in the 60th minute because he was one of the worst players on the pitch. And how many times are we going to see these performances before the manager learns, before the football club learns? And the problem is, right, this is a Fulham side. This isn't Man United. This isn't Man City. This isn't even Tottenham in the way that they're playing right now. We're getting outplayed by a Fulham side. And people genuinely think we're going to go for a league title this season. And then on top of that, right, I'm hearing fans giving excuses as to why Kieran Tierney's been loaned out. And I wanted to come on and talk about this, right? Because again, today, a problem within the team was our defence. Now, okay, I understand Kieran Tierney doesn't fit the system and the way that the manager wants to play. But to loan the guy out with no money coming in, so you cannot reinvest back into the squad, with no sign of Arsenal actually doing anything in the transfer market to address the fact that Ewan Timber is out injured and to address the fact that we've now loaned out Kieran Tierney, we are left with less defensive options than what we had last season. And it didn't win us the league last season. So what makes anybody think it's going to be good enough this season? I'm sorry, but this is absolute rubbish, Tel. He spent £700 million. This is his 4th season in. We expect much better. And at the end of the day, we see 2 poor performances. We got away with it. Today, we didn't get away with it. And next week against Man United, if we play like that, we won't get away with it. So people need to wake up, start actually holding people accountable at the football club, like the manager, like the players, for this absolute crap. And I agree with Sauls again. Too many babies on the pitch. Too many babies throwing their arms up when there's misplaced passes and stuff like that. You cannot be doing that. So I'm fuming about today, Tel. I'm fuming.
No, listen, I understand why you're fuming. I think you make a really good point here. I get where you're coming from, and I get the frustrations, because even though you've started the season slowly, you should still be winning today. And the fact is, you got yourselves back into a winning position and you couldn't hold on to it. I understand the frustration within that massively. I want to go to some of these super chats that have come in here. This here says, Igal saying they would smash Fulham 4-0, hashtag in the mud. Listen, Igal and the football gods have got issues. They really, really do. I want to thank Cara here for becoming an official Football Terrace member. Apology to Brandon. Arteta is a joke. Havertz is a clown. D, I know you're obviously someone who's a lot more positive about what goes on at Arsenal, but the formation didn't work today. Havertz, poor game, not clinical enough in front of goal, collapsing at the end. Give me your thoughts on the Gooners' performance today, mate.
That first half was probably one of our worst first halves I've seen in a long, long time. The players looked so confused. No one knew where they were playing. That back three with Kyrgios, Saliba and Ben White, that can't go on anymore. Without Tomiyasu, without Zinchenko, you can't play Kyrgios as a left back. You can't play Partey as a right back. He is absolutely terrible as a right back. I think Arteta needs to go back to basics, go back to a back four, and then play Rice and Partey in midfield. Because this experiment of playing 3 at the back and then 5 attackers, we were so exposed. I don't know how we weren't 3-4-0 down in the first half.
You've changed your tune, Dale. You've changed your tune.
No, I'm being objective with my opinions. I don't have any agenda against anyone. Every single player played so bad in the first half. It wasn't one player that played awful. The whole team played awful in the first half. There's a reason why Trossard got hooked up at half time. Because what was he offering up front? Like, Eddie Nketiah was quality in the first 2 games. And then for some reason he gets dropped against Fulham. And then when he comes in the second half, you see how well he performed. I was flabbergasted why he got dropped this game. I don't know why. So Arteta needs to stop faffing about, because if we play like that against United next week, we're losing easily. So back to a back four, go back to basics. And I think let's not overreact too much, because that was one bad performance. And I think we'll still be all right.
Well, can I just say something about this whole... Man United is going to be a different game. The lineup's going to be completely different. We know what the system's going to come to. I've said this.
I asked you this last week.
When it comes to Sunday, I guarantee you that 11 will be different. You'll see it reverted back to more of what we've seen in last season. That's the system he's going to play. Against the smaller teams, he knows he can have that extra attacking body, or he's experimenting with it or whatever. But the reality is, because of Zinchenko's injury or him not being part of it and Timber's getting injured, is why we're seeing the party right back, is why we're seeing, this different style being played. When Zinchenko is fully fit, you're going to start to see Ben White play right back. You're going to see Gabriel Magalhaes naturally come back in. Or if Urian Timbers miraculously comes back next week, you'll start to see them 4 play together again. And that's the reality. And look, I can be wrong. I'm not sitting here and saying I'm guaranteed to be right on this. But I know for a fact, knowing Arteta over the 3 years and how he makes his decisions, you're not going to see this 11 play against United. And if Ten Hag thinks this is the 11 turning up, man's a fool.